gladiators in this arena of life that, we didn't get any say-so. We don't have any choice. We neither have a republic or a democracy anymore. I mean, I could point to evidence, after evidence out there that tells you, look, it is not we the people that are in control. America is not America anymore. We don't have constitutional, recognition anymore. Okay, it's all about the moneyed class. It's all about these people. I mean, we know that they can rig elections with these die bold. Isn't that cute? It's almost like they're telling you right there on the face that, hey, we can hack these things and do what we want. You people are idiots, you sheeple, as they call us. You useless feeders. To ever tolerate that for one moment, these digital voting machines. Ridiculous, absurdist. So, but we did, and we tolerate a lot of stuff, and I think a lot of it's because of ignorance, and that's something I like to do in my videos, is try to, help people to come out of that ignorance as gently as possible, but as firmly as possible, kind of like raising a kid. You've got to be gentle but firm. You've got to say under no uncertain circumstances, no uncertain terms, that you can't cross the street whenever you want. One chance in life is all you get. You get hit by one of these 2-ton automobiles and you're dead. It's that simple, And, for all intents and purposes, your life here on this planet for now is over. Yes, we believe in eternal life and all that, but I mean, look, who out there doesn't want to see every child grow to adulthood and beyond, to live a ripe old age, like they say, all of us. But, I wanted to say that I find it unnerving, insufferable. My whole life I've had to sit back and witness, speak out, yes, but there's nothing, I don't have any power to change things except for voting and to word of mouth and speaking to everybody I meet. Okay, that's the only power I have over this thing, because I don't have any financial power, any clout, political clout to do anything. And those that pay the less taxes, right, isn't that the way the system thinks? Well, he's a big taxpayer over here. He gets, favoritism, give him the best seat in the synagogue sort of thing. But I find it absolutely repugnant to have this system go on like this. And not only that, but it's very dangerous. We're in a very precarious situation here. We all have to understand why. And with these people running our economic system, these money printers primarily, and their policies, deciding how it's going to be by price fixing, by manipulating markets, particularly essential human needs. I really don't care about luxury. I'm talking about human needs. I'm talking about specific housing, what they've done by increasing the cost of housing in this country, by dumping all this currency, this fiat currency they printed up on the market. This is how they've done it. And all these people, real estate agents, all the lenders, everybody's gone along with this program, the homeowners, because they saw this as good for their bottom line. Hey, the homeowner says, hey, that's equity, it's capitalism, what are you going to do? But he's not off the hook. Okay, we're all complicit in being indifferent to some degree and tolerating this. But I, for one, I'm going to stand up and object. I'm on record. I hate it. It makes me sick to my stomach. We don't have a shadow of a supply and demand system, not an iota. Okay, that's what's so dangerous. That means that if they killed half the people in your town tomorrow, because we know these people are these globalists, New World Order cats, they're depopulationists. They want to get rid of a huge segment of the population. The vast majority of people they don't see a need for. They're just useless, takers, users, eaters, whatever. And so if they got rid of half the people, let's say with this Ebola thing, there's a whole nother thing. Why is the system, why are these people, these top, experts, soft pedaling this issue when, we're supposed to be as careful as possible? Isn't that the most prudent thing to do? Better safe than sorry and all that, but they're soft pedaling it. So let's say Ebola wipes out half the people in your town tomorrow. Well, the survivors might say, well, you know what? Supply and demand, I guess housing is going to go down and, my cost of living will go down. Not anymore. Not with these people price fixing. You understand? They could do it without even reducing the population now. People are dying out in the streets. People die in a plethora of different ways. They die from suicides because they get financially squeezed. Okay? They die in prisons. They die in homicides. And this is all caused by financial desperation. The God of this world squeezing their throat and saying, revere me, revere me. What are you going to do? Do something. You got to bow down and worship me. Do a good job, and all this I will lay before you. Like the offer that was given to Jesus by the devil. It's that same thing today. And we've got to really understand the power in this thing. And we've got to ask ourselves, when the chips are down, which side will I be on? It's only one side or the other. It's either on the side of humanity or inhumanity. It isn't about your political affiliation. It isn't about your race. It isn't about your gender. It isn't about anything else out there. It isn't about your religion. Nothing that these people have, persuaded us. Oh, believe you got too many differences. It's overwhelming. There's nothing you could. Don't buy that. Don't buy that. You've got to understand. Come out of Babylon and understand that the truth is really simple, that God doesn't withhold it. He wants us to have wisdom and knowledge. He wants us to know the truth from the lies. And he wants us to come out of confusion, come out of deceit, come out of Babylon, and walk with him and be his hands and feet, eyes and ears on the ground. This is the highest calling any of us could ever have. Anyhow, the best to everybody out there, and we'll talk to you again sometime. So the reason people are suffering in the world isn't because they've been lazy and unproductive. We've got overproduction. We've got a superfluity. And I want to touch on a couple of things now about sound currency that you need to understand. Basically, all it is, it's currency that has checks and balances. So traditionally, when we had periods of sound currency, it was tied to a precious metal because this was in finite supply. And if it got really dear, then, that was, what would happen is that your cost of living would go down. Your cost to purchase goods would be reduced. And this is what you've got to understand, is that gradually, if we had sound currency, it'd create a rising tide of prosperity across the board. And the reason for that is very simple. Again, your money is worth a little more each day, gradually worth a little more, because that shows progress, that humanity collectively is finding easier and easier ways to meet our needs, primarily things like food, shelter, housing, and water. And beyond that, we can do what we want because we're very inventive and creative, and that's what we've done. So this is why true progress indicates that you're creating a greater supply constantly, consistently than your demand. And that way your prices for those things that you want and need go down. And then you can ask yourself, well, to what end? And that's why the establishment is so opposed to it, because to very egalitarian ends, and a term that's synonymous with egalitarian is equalitarian, to equalitarian ends. That means all of a sudden the whole society starts working without the need for currency at all, because everybody says, you know what, we've played that game to death, and we know there's all this extra stuff. We've got giant clearing houses for automobiles and electronics, and there's vacant housing all over the planet, because instinctually a man loves to serve. And that's one of the worst things we've got in our system today, is this malaise, this miasma, and I'm feeling it very strongly myself. And it's hard to put your finger on it, but it affects everything. It affects your personal paradigm, those personal problems, issues, that bug you. Uh, it affects, things like romance. There's a lot of unfulfilled romance because a person is being financially uh, oppressed, terrorized. So you understand that this is a very, very powerful magic, and I do believe it's like magic, and we've got to see it like that. That this is a very powerful trick they've played on us. They've pulled the wool over our eyes, and when we come out of that, we really understand, that the things I'm telling you and other people have told you out there, they're telling the truth, and they know what they're talking about, and that this is why this is the one single commodity they won't let us have. Can you imagine, instead of your cost of living going up every day with inflation, the debasement of your currency, unsound currency, that the value of your currency kept going up and up and up? You get where this thing goes, it creates an equal state of economics and society. So people are serving one another because they darn well want to. And you can do whatever you want. So I'm not saying I'm trying to take from those that have. All I'm saying is I want to make sure that everybody has. If there's plenty of stuff, there's plenty of stuff. It has nothing to do with money. They've made us believe this through their propaganda, through their trickery, their sorcery. By infecting the colleges and universities, by infecting the mainstream media. And a lot of these people are deceived too. So they could come out, very believable because they actually believe this stuff. That's where all the fruits start. It all starts in our belief system, our thoughts. And then we say these things out our mouth because we believe them. And then we act on those things. So all these depopulationists out there, and I'm not going to start naming names, but there's plenty of them out there. And guys like Bill Gates, just throw one name out there. I mean, he's pretty much on record saying that, the Earth population got to be reduced. Guys like Ted Turner, Rockefellers, a lot of these elitists, these Illuminati class, the New World Order globalist class, that are just hobnobbing with the money printers. This really is where Satan's throne is, and God knows it all. So, it's all going to hit the fan. That's why you don't want to be overly invested in this paradigm they've conjured up and inflicted upon the public. We've really got to step back and say, wow, I see this thing doesn't end happily. And even if these people, they want to keep this thing going, for as long, forever, in perpetuity if they could. All these politicians just want to collude with the money printing class. These are good jobs, they're invested in the poverty industrial complex. They sell out to the landlords and the property manager groups, the investors, the property speculators, the developers, with the gentrification of neighborhoods, causing people's cost of housing to skyrocket. And they say, oh, well, we subsidize. If you're too poor, come and see the Section 8 or some other housing subsidy program. That's where the politicians are complicit. This is where they're guilty. They want to manipulate the price of housing because their tax base goes up. It's that fundamental to understand. That all you've got to get it is that, hey, if we raise the price of this house from $100,000 to $300,000, that triples the amount of taxes we get. Our tax base goes up by 300%. So you can see the incentive that these people have. So they've signed off, they've put their John Doe on the mark of the beast. And, not only would they do it in their heart and their mind, but they would do it literally with their hand. They would, I love it so much. I love the things of this world so much. I love my life in this world. I love the power. I love the advantage that I have by having all this money, all this security, all this prosperity. And I'm the practical one. I'm the pragmatic one. I'm the one with common sense. I'm the successful one. This is the way the public at large looks at these people. And really, I tell you what, I find it very distasteful, that we have this disadvantaged paradigm. And it's got to break. But even if things kept going for a long time from now, this pyramid scheme will break, because what happens is, if this is just history repeating itself, is that you oppress the people so much, you could push so far, and then you have a bloody revolt. And I, being a nonviolent person, am not going to prescribe to that bloody revolt. That doesn't mean there's not going to be a lot of people out there that are going to be willing to do whatever it takes to have some semblance of security, some semblance of freedom in this world. Okay, there's a lot of people that will do whatever it takes, and I know a lot of people are really very angry about the Constitution being trampled under hoof. Humanity's being run roughshod over by this same class I'm talking about, and we've all got to understand what we're up against, and what we need to do is just fundamentally understand basic truths. And those truths are not gray areas. They're not wavering. These are solid, concrete, tangible truths. Okay, because right has a certain definition and wrong has a certain